So I am live in studio with someone I'm very excited to talk to, actor Eddie Redmayne. Welcome to B96.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming. So, couple things we have to talk about. The first one being your new movie, Theory of Everything, coming out November 14th, where you play Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, I do indeed.
Unreal. You were unreal in
Oh,
this role.
thank you so much.
Unbelievable. So, first talk about did you know much about his life getting into this movie?
Do you know what? I knew embarrassingly little.
Yeah.
I knew his icon. I knew his voice. I knew that he'd done some probably quite important things to do with black holes. But I studied
Right.
history of art at university, so I gave up science when I was a kid. But so when I read this script and realized there was this extraordinary kind of love story behind and this woman that kind of fueled a lot of his work and his it was amazing, really amazing.
Well, I wouldn't say you should be embarrassed that you didn't know much because I don't know if many people really know much, at least what this movie shows, because I didn't know anything, like you said, about this love story and how he had this wife, and I didn't know he had kids either.
Yeah,
I
I
had
know,
no
but
idea.
he also, the other thing that I found is meeting him. He has he's just so funny. He has
Yeah.
the most extraordinary kind of wit and humor, and that was spending time with him was genuinely one of the most amusing few
Yeah.
hours, whilst also intimidating few hours, but very amusing few hours of my
Oh,
life.
I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. And so now playing this role, I mean, I read a lot about how you sort of got prepared for it because you sort of go through the transition that he went through from being a 21-year-old to obviously getting older
Yeah.
and how his body sort of broke down over time.
Yeah.
What was that like having to, I mean, I read that you had to sort of contort yourself every day in these, an uncomfortable wheelchair that,
Yeah.
how did that go for you?
Do you know what? It was quite full on. I spent 4 months beforehand going to an ALS clinic in London and with the specialists there meeting people who suffer from this horrifically vicious
Yeah.
disease and then trying to look at photos of Stephen when he was younger and see what his physical decline would have been. But the tricky thing in performing it was that we don't shoot chronologically in film, so we basically had to jump between different physicalities in the same day.
Right.
But and it was at moments it was uncomfortable, but the reality was at the end of the day I could get out of the wheelchair, and a lot of the people I'd met couldn't. And so it was that kind of the truth of that always stayed with you. You realize how lucky you are.
And I read too you had like a chart.
Yeah, that's true.
What kind of chart? Talk to me about the chart.
I mean, it was the most sort of yeah. It was a chart breakdown of all because also his voice declined as well. So
Yeah.
it was about what was going on. This chart mapped kind of physically and vocally what was going on in the performance, so that I could jump into these different scenes and different days. Because filmmaking is always quite a quick process, so you have to be able to slip in.
Wow, yeah. And so for you, having played this role and going through it, what did you take away from it? Is there anything that you sort of took
Do you know
away
what
from
I
the
took
screen?
away from it is that, and meeting Stephen and Jane and his whole family is, age 21, he was a healthy, vibrant, vivacious man, and he was given a 2-year death sentence. And rather than sort of wallow in the horrific news, he chose to live every minute of his life as fully as he possibly could, and he continues to do so. And for me, that was hugely inspiring. I get so caught up in the foibles of everyday problems. It's just
Yeah.
amazing just to and consistently have kind of perspective to fill each living moment.
And it's got to be intimidating. I mean, for one, like you said, he's just an intimidating guy in
Yeah.
general, but he's still around. I mean, has he seen
Yeah,
the movie?
he has seen the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was. I mean, when I took on the part, I knew that ultimately he was going to be the great judge, and
Yeah.
he saw it recently, and I saw him just before the screening, and I said to him, "Look, Stephen, I'm very nervous, but
Sure.
but let me know what you think." And he took a while. It takes him a while to write out sentences now, and then in his iconic voice, he said, "I will let you know what I think, good or otherwise." And I was like, "All right, Stephen, if it's otherwise, can you maybe just you only have to say otherwise. You don't have to say anything more." But
Right.
no, he was
right.
really generous. He's been so lovely about the movie, and actually, when we made the film, we used an approximated version of his voice, his iconic voice, and after seeing the film, he gave us the copyright to his voice. So the voice you hear in the film is his voice, which is amazing.
Oh, how great.
Yeah.
Ah, Cool. Well, everyone needs to go see it out November 14th. And a couple other things I want to mention. I mean, a lot of people probably know you from Les Mis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, when you get recognized the most, is it like, oh my gosh? And
Yeah.
do they start singing to you?
You're not going to ask me to sing, are you?
No, unless you want to.
No, do you know what? The entire press tour of Les Mis, it was like this constant anxiety that you're going to be asked to sing. And on this one, the constant anxiety is that someone's going to ask you to explain like astronomy, or physics laws.
Yeah. Oh no, I won't go there. No, I'm a writing person myself. So yeah, no, so I won't go there. But yeah, it's funny because I told some people who were coming in and they said he has a great voice.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's a bit rusty these days. It's been a wee while. After Les Mis, I sort of put it back in its box where it probably belongs.
Okay, till next time. Okay, so then also you're in Jupiter Ascending, which is filmed here. Did you film any parts of it?
Do you know what? Frustratingly, I didn't.
No,
Jupiter is half set on Earth in Chicago and half set and outer space, where these sort of huge barren families are ruling space, and I'm one of those dudes. So all of our stuff was shot in Pinewood in England. I was so desperately begging Lana and Andy to let me, Wachowski, to let me come and shoot here, but sadly it was not to be.
Well, you were here, though, in spirit. Can I show you? And I don't mean to embarrass you, but there's a big, giant Burberry store on Michigan Avenue. Are you aware of this store?
No, I'm not.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
But this was up on the front of this Burberry store for many, many weeks.
Wow, what am I doing? Am I biting
I don't know.
cars?
It was something like this.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's very odd. I apologize for that. That's a pretty horrific thing to have to look at every day.
I remember I was like, I know that guy. Oh, that's the guy from Les Mis. And I would see you every day going to and from work.
I accompanied you to work.
You did, every day. And it made it just a great trip. So thank you for that.
You're so
if you
welcome.
have a chance, you should look at this store. It's a gorgeous store.
I'll check it out.
It's very big, very nice. But yeah, do you ever get this? Do you still look at these?
No, I haven't seen those for a wee while. But I'm a big. But there you go. No, that's it's so weird, that idea when you do those things, or if you're in films and posters are on big buildings around the world, you never sort of hear them. Occasionally you'll get sent like an email from a friend and they're in China and there's a photo of you on it. It never gets normal. That it's very
so
odd.
You're like, I don't know, you're like a quadruple threat: actor, singer, model. I mean,
God,
you do it all,
I don't know. No, just trying to retain employment.
And finally, recently engaged.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wedding plans?
In the middle of all that. Yeah, just doing all that. So it's exciting.
It is exciting.
So looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. Like, we're having a really small wedding, but it's still like there's so much that sort of raises its head. But yeah, no, really exciting.
Is she taking care of most of it?
Mostly, yeah. I'm here we live back in England, so Hannah's dealing with the lion's share for sure.
Good, because you know what? That's the thing about wedding planning for me. It seems very overwhelming. I've yet to get married, but it seems for me it is quite the process.
But I think you try and go, we're going to make it different. We're just going to do it really simply. And then gradually, even if you're doing it small, all the decisions come up and they steal upon you. And but it's been fun. We've been enjoying it.
Good. Well, Eddie, I enjoyed this movie. Such a great movie. Everyone should check it out. The Theory of Everything, again, in theaters November 14th, where you play Stephen Hawking and you're amazing in the role.
Oh,
amazing. So if nothing else, go see him in it for that. It's awesome. Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks.
Great to